Boom. All right, where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? I think what I want to talk about today is the idea that there's this new identity emerging. Of course, when I say for you, right, I'm talking about you, the audience. When I say you, I'm talking again to my frequency fam, the people that resonate with me, that, you know, seem to mirror each other on this kind of creative, entrepreneurial, spiritual journey that we're on. And we're kind of just all in this, you know, collective going through these experiences together. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. This new identity that is emerging for us. You know, we've been in this period of winter. We've been reflecting. We've been still. We've been looking at ourselves. Winter kind of forces us to do that. I know we're kind of, you know, we say the new year is the 1st of January and then new year, new me type shit, right? But like, that's not how it goes, isn't it? Like the seasons, we're supposed to follow the season and our bodies follow the seasons anyway. And so, you know, the last 2 months, I would say, have been this really kind of heavy energy, this sitting, resting and reflecting kind of energy, right? And, you know, I've not tried to fight that energy is basically what I'm trying to say. You know, I've been in that myself. I've been reflecting on the things that I've learned last year, who I want to become, and just all of this, you know, this collection of experiences and wisdom that I've kind of learned just through the last year. Now I'm kind of taking all of that and like putting it into one place and looking at, okay, like these are the lessons I've learned. This is who I want to come. This is who I want to become. This is where I want to be going towards. And so I kind of want to talk about that today. I guess, you know, that's what the video is going to be about. Of course, I've got my notes here, as I always do, because I haven't been around for the last 2 weeks and I've been getting like intense downloads. So I just wanted to make sure that I didn't forget half the stuff that I wanted to come on live, come in this YouTube video and share with you, you know? And again, it's about new identity, God, how God's asking us now to look forward instead of back, what's happening on a collective level as well, on this frequency family, you know, this frequency family, this collective that we're part of. And also the film Arrivals. Sounds a bit random. I don't know if you've seen the film Arrivals, it's that alien film. But it also has to do with some of these reflections that I've been thinking about, some of the downloads that I've received in the last 2 weeks since I've been away. So yeah, let's get into it. I feel like I've got a lot to say. I definitely have a lot to say. That's why I've got my notes, so that I keep myself on track. And yeah, let me just reel off the dome, you feel me? Like I'm just gonna go for it. How I'm gonna do this as well is I'm gonna start kind of small. I'm gonna talk about obviously what we're going through in terms of becoming this new person, the things that we've been through and designing our new identities. And then I'm also going to, towards the end of the video, get more expansive, and that's where I'm gonna kind of talk about the Arrivals, that alien film that I mentioned, and kind of what's happening to us on a collective level. So, you know, as I said before, I've missed the last 2 weeks, but the reason that I missed the last 2 weeks of doing this live that we've been doing, you know, I guess for the last month now or so, is because February was like really heavy energy. Once again, it was winter, so we were being prompted by the seasons, by life, by God, by the energy to just rest and reflect. But for some reason, I was just feeling like mad tired. Like I couldn't do anything, fam. I was trying. I was just like I was forcing it. You feel me? Like I was just sitting in the studio and I'm like, all right. I know I've been napping a lot still, but I can't keep just sitting down and doing nothing. And every time I went to try to do something, I just couldn't do it. And so I didn't resist that. I didn't ignore those signals. You know, I've done that in the past. When you try to ignore the energy, the signals, your intuition, You always pay the price. And so I'm old enough, wise enough, spiritually advanced enough now to go with the flow and to listen to the energy and to what my intuition is telling me to do. And that was rest. And so that's what I did. And not only was it rest, it was also play, like being more spontaneous, allowing more moments of magic. Because this is the thing, like when you're someone like us, when you're part of this frequency family, you've got all these aspirations and goals and ideas and things that you want to do. You feel like you always need to be on go mode. You want to manifest the things, you want to put in the action, the work. You're not someone who's just going to sit down and like think that the universe is going to like magically just gift everything to you. Yes, that is part of the journey, miracles, and we should allow space to receive, sit in that emperor, that empress energy, right? We should be in that at times, but there are times where we have to also put in the work too and do our half. It's like we put in the work and then God, the universe, spirit does the other 50%, always. But that's just not what we were in it. Like, that's just not what we were in. Bear with me a second, I'm just reading the comments. Hello, welcome if you're just joining. We are talking about designing your new identity. But yeah, as I was saying, like we weren't in that energy, right? We were in the energy of needing to rest and reflect and just kind of enjoy life, right? And so that's what God, the universe, spirit was prompting me to do. Not only was I resting, I was taking a lot more naps, right? I'm freelance. I'm in control of my time right now and I'm blessed to be in this space. So I was taking a lot of naps. But then also like I went into the city one day and then my plans just kind of like took on a life of their own. Like I ended up hanging out with some people randomly that I met that day. And I wouldn't do that. I would stick to the script of what I needed to do when I go into the city. I went that day actually to get a skincare facial. Like it was the first time, pause. But it was the first time that I ever got a facial. And it was great. You know, again, in this rest energy, it's all about like doing that self-care. And you've probably been feeling that yourself, right? Like wanting to tend to yourself, doing things that you haven't maybe necessarily done before, but like making an effort to look after yourself because you only got one you. And again, if we're in this period of rest and rejuvenation, like why not feed into yourself, pour into yourself in new ways? And that's going to be part of what we're going to get to later in the video about designing your new identity and newer ways to nourish yourself, right? But yeah, I went and gave myself that experience. I got a facial. It was great. But then my intuition was telling me like, go into this cafe when I was walking through the city in London. And so I went there, met some people as I just mentioned and kind of just went on this little adventure and it was pretty cool. And I didn't fight it. And it felt great. And so just kind of being in this energy of rest and play and allowing for more moments of magic has filled up that energy. And maybe you've been doing that yourself, like intuitively over the past, I don't know, month or so, especially the rest part. I mean, I hope you have been resting, but that's just what like we've been called to, right? Bear with me a second while I just look at the comments. It's like watering down burnt umber, burnt sienna. Yes, this is the underpainting part that I am now painting on top of it, basically. So where was I? Yeah, like I was in the city and I was just, having a great experience and great time. And like the main message that I wanted to come and bring to you guys, like 2 weeks ago, should I say, was just that, it was more about like designing this new identity, going through these experiences and like having time and space to rest. Because when I think back in my life, and maybe it's the same thing for you, like you tell me, drop in the comments right now, like in the comments if this is something that you've experienced yourself. But when I think back in my life to the moments where I've manifested like the biggest things, the biggest like life shifts or changes, things that I've been thinking about or ways out, you know, into new realities, into higher timelines, doing different things. It was always when I was in a moment of rest and reflection, without failure. Like every single time I stopped forcing it and I just allowed, again, Emperor, Empress energy, I just allowed the universe to gift me the solutions, the doors, the opportunities, the people to just manifest and appear. That is when, like, yeah, that is when they came. It was never by force. It could never be by force. Like, you can't force a frequency. You just have to be it. And yeah, that's basically like what I wanted to talk about, and what has been happening even now. And so yeah, it just wasn't through force, right? It was like, again, allowing those moments of magic and not being so rigid in your manifestations. And this is the thing, like, being rigid doesn't even have to necessarily mean like just trying to take action. Like, it's not always like that still. It can also be being rigid in being comfortable in where you are. Like, for many of us, I can only talk for myself, but I can assume as well, because you're part of this frequency family and you mirror me, right? For many of us, we've been in this hermit mode, maybe for a couple of years now. Maybe it's been at least 6 months, but for a couple of years, you've been isolated. Maybe, you know, you've been working on yourself. You've been looking at your past, your traumas, your shadow, your darkness. You've been reflecting, you've been purging. You've been doing that inner work, as I've been talking about on my channel and on my page, on TikTok, on YouTube. You've been doing that inner work to really like dig into yourself and release things that don't actually serve you anymore. And that's great. But like, that can also be addictive. That can also be a comfort zone, like continually resting inside and sitting inside and just looking at yourself and ruminating, right? That's a comfort zone. It doesn't necessarily have to be your own grind mode. Like, reflecting and doing that alchemy can also become a comfort zone. And I think I realized that when I had these adventures last week, or in the weeks that I've been missing, you know, these past 2 weeks, that I have been inside way too much, fam. Way too much. Like, it's time to get back out there. And it made me realize that, wow, like, okay, again, as the seasons are ending, as we're entering this spring energy, right? Things are blooming, things are becoming alive again, things are growing. I am ready to also do that. And I've never felt it more in my life than now. I'm so sensitive to that energy. It's like, I am so ready to, I want to laugh, fam. I want to laugh gutturally. I want to get out and meet new people and have new experiences and do all these things that I haven't done necessarily, maybe that I have forgotten that I liked to do, like certain things that I liked to do in the past, because once again, I was busy doing that inner work to become lighter, to release the burden of certain experiences and programming that was like holding me down. And so, you know, it's just that time. It's just that time to like really honor that energy of spring and newness and wanting to get back out there. Social media can make people force outcomes. Exactly. Like, social media can make you force your journey. I've been through that. Of course, you see people having wins and like pursuing their goals and doing the things that they want to do. And you're like, oh, what am I doing? And so you want to like, it pushes you into this space of like, again, like you get hyper focused on trying to figure your shit out. And you get in this loop of like trying to look at yourself and then, and work on yourself and like, you know, lock in and stay locked to your shit and all this stuff. Like, and it can become very repetitive. Like, you're kind of in this circle jerk pause with your own self, right? Like, you're just hyper fixated on you. And yes, it's important and it's needed for a time, but you can't stay there. Like, God isn't, the universe, spirit, your ancestors isn't gonna make you level up, like prompt you to level up and do all of this inner work just to then sit in your yard. Like, you're supposed to take all of these blessings, this light, these things that you've realized, and share them with the outside world so that other people can be touched by that light and go off on their merry way and spread that energy to other people. Like, that's the whole point of this awakening, this ascension that people always talk about, and, you know, that people are looking for, even within themselves. Where was I? This is why we have my notes. Keep me on track. Keep me on track. Thank you so much. I am from London, born and raised. Born and raised. As I was saying though, you know, we've been doing that inner work is what I'm trying to say. But like, the thing is, it's like, it's time to now look forward, because the thing is, when you're doing inner work, you're looking back. You know, I've spoken about this before. You're on my YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out already, go and check out some of my other videos over there. Or maybe on my page, or my YouTube, or my TikTok page, sorry, I will talk about that more, especially in the coming months. I want to share some downloads and insights around that. But, you know, I've spoken about how your subconscious mind doesn't know time. Scientifically, psychologically, like, we know that your subconscious mind doesn't know time. It's the exact reason why when certain things that triggered you, obviously in the past as a child or whatever, when you experience them in the present moment, like, your body reacts, because your body keeps the score. Your inner child is standing right there alongside your teenage self, alongside your adult self. And so when you're putting yourself in scenarios and situations that make them feel unsafe, you're going to feel it in the present moment, especially if you're tapped into your energetic body, if you're tapped into the way your body responds and feels. And so, you know, the whole point of doing all of this rest and reflection and purging and making ourselves and our inner child and our teen self feel safe is that, like, yeah, now it's time to bring that forward. It's time to, like, take all of that work we've been doing and carry it forward. There's no time for, like, obsessively looking back. And when we're going forward, obviously the whole point of going forward is to go into a newer reality, to go into higher timelines. And part of that is designing that timeline, designing that identity, designing that person who we're going to now become, now that we've done a lot of this healing, now that we've broken so many of these fucking generational curses that we've had to go through and live through and purge out of us. Like, it's time to really, again, get back out there, live life, and enjoy and experience this earth, fam. Like, this earth, like, all of the best things that life has to offer. And to do that, you need to design your new identity. You need to know who you're stepping into, because the current you won't sustain a new higher reality that contains all of the things that you want to be doing on this planet, right? Like, you have certain habits right now that just don't align with that frequency. It's why, again, like, I call us a frequency family, because we are hyper aware that we're operating on frequencies, and to get into higher realities, you have to shift your frequency so that you can sustain the habits, the thoughts, the look, the conversations, everything to match that reality, so that you can go there and stay there, maintain it. What is it they say? It's like, it's easy to get money, it's easy to get rich, apparently. And it probably is, and I know it is, because I've manifested money myself easily in other ways, and opportunities as well, not even just the money, the people, the conversations, the relationships. It's easy to shift your, like, frequency to get there, but then sustaining that is a whole nother ball game. Doing that day to day is a whole nother ball game. Can you keep that vibration? Can you keep that alive? And to do that, once again, you need to become the person who lives in that reality, right? Bear with me a second, just reading the the comments. Thank you. Yeah, nah, I'm telling them, man. I'm just channeling, like, this stuff was coming through to me within the last 2 weeks, and, like, I just feel compelled to share this. And I'm excited to share, like, a lot of these downloads that I've realized over the last 2 weeks as well. But yeah, it's like, we have to design our identity going forward to be able to stay in these realities that we're now manifesting. Because the thing is, like, one thing I know about my frequency fam, you lot just get it. Like, there's certain things even on this video that I don't even need to say. Like, I can just be my thoughts to you and you just get it, yeah? Like, you just get it. And so I don't even need to go too far into like becoming the whole identity thing. Like you lot already know, innit? You know. And like what I wanted to share as well, even 2 weeks ago, was even though we've been doing a lot of that again inner work, and to an extent, like these blessings now that are coming forward to us that you probably can even sense coming are on autopilot, like because you've done so much purging, you are light enough. It's like you are just being carried into these realities, right? But there's still certain things that we need to do to formalize it. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to formalizing it was like designing your identity boards. So what I mean by designing identity boards is literally just taking like a piece of paper and writing out who you want to be, like what the new version of you would say, feel, do, and think, right? Like literally just take a piece of paper, split it into 4, and sit down and write out what they would say, think, do, and feel like on a day-to-day basis. Like what is that new identity? And the reason why I wanted to say that is because even though, again, you're on autopilot to certain blessings and certain timelines now, it's still like just a formality, right? To like lock in that vibration, to really just make sure that you're being clear on who you're stepping into now. Even though you've been thinking about who you want to be for a while, it's just kind of a formality, right? It's just like making sure you're taking steps and like doing the things to, just to lock it in, you feel me? Just checking my notes. But yeah, it's like, those are the fundamentals. Don't skip the steps. And I just wanted to come on and remind you about that. But see, and now here's where it goes even further. Like, it's more like this next phase, again, because we've been in the trenches, I guess, for years, like manifesting and working on ourselves. This next phase is just kind of predestined for us because we chose the path. Again, not everyone who is chosen chooses the path back, right? Some people have been blessed with gifts and talents and they choose to do other things with them or just not respond to the call. But like, you've been blessed and you chose the path, right? And because you chose the path, God is now just saying to you, like, okay, just make sure you're like super clear about what it is that you want to experience, because I'm going to be unlocking like manifestation powers and certain things in your life, like with ease, because you're lighter now, because you're lighter. You've let go of burdens from your soul and experiences again. And now you're able to float into different realities. And so being able to be like being clear, on where you want to go, like recalibrating your GPS system, your navigation system is what you need to do just to make sure that you're carrying yourself into where you want to go, like into whatever timeline you want to experience. Because it's going to happen quick. And it might probably even be happening to you already. Like certain things that you're thinking about just fucking manifest with crazy accuracy. Like, yeah. Here's an example for me. Like, let me just even share this. Here's what it is. I don't care where it goes. For those of you who like are fans of The Matrix, right? I don't know if you knew, but there's the creators of The Matrix, the films, there's this whole thing of, they stole or took a lot of that material, the source material, from this black woman, Sophia Stewart, like this author, and didn't credit her in it. And then she took them to court and yada, yada, yada. And so I never, I'd have no reason to be sitting down and thinking about this woman. I see a YouTube interview of her that she done recently. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like, that was uncanny. So I watched the YouTube video, and I think the YouTube video must have come out like 2 weeks ago now. I watched the YouTube video, yeah? When I went to that day trip in London, this is just mad. When I went to the day trip in London, when I did the facial and everything, and I met some random people and like went on a little adventure, one of them goes, oh, I don't even know why. Like, we were just talking and I mentioned The Matrix. I think obviously maybe because I had watched that recent interview she did. And that one of the person who I was chilling with, like, it goes to me, oh yeah, like I met her a couple of years ago. I have her number. Like the stuff that you do and the stuff that you talk about would really like be interesting to her. Like I should like hook you up or some shit. Obviously, I don't know if that's still gonna happen or not. I'll let that manifest as it does. But like, she pulls out her phone and she shows me her number and stuff, and she shows me text messages between them. I'm like, what the fuck? I was just thinking about this lady last week, and now I'm standing here and this girl is like, yeah, like, oh, I should link you guys up. I'm like, bro, this is mad. But it's also not, because just as we've been speaking about, we've been doing the work. You've been doing the work to release, and now like manifestate, you're able to just quantum tunnel, as I like to say, into these realities at will. And so you have to be like super intentional about where you want to go, which is why identity boards and things like that are important, because it's just like a kind of a way for you to steer that driving wheel to get to where you want to go with intention, right? Let me just read exactly, you're always one thought away. Always one thought away. In fact, drop a brain or a lightning bolt in the comments right now, just to lock that in. You are always one thought away. And if you have that power, I just want to see like how many of you resonate with that. Drop a brain or a lightning bolt in the chat, and yeah, lock that in. But it's true, man. You're always one thought away. And so, you know, doing these things, like, again, these formalities is important because, well, yeah, we've been given new powers now, and it's kind of like, stick to the basics, stick to the fundamentals so that you don't overwhelm yourself or get lost or, you know, psych yourself out, because it also, you know, that might be possible to kind of psych yourself out as you realize like all of these new spiritual gifts and things that are being unlocked for you. Sorry, just losing my train of thought, looking at my notes. But yeah, it's like, yeah, we've been breaking the curses and stuff. And so like, once again, we're standing now with our subconscious mind. If the subconscious mind is timeless, and we've been doing all of this inner work to heal the past versions of ourselves, again, like with Avatar, The Last Airbender, you can see all of the past versions of himself standing behind him when he meditates. If you have been doing that with all your past versions of yourself, because the subconscious mind doesn't know time, and now like all of you are standing in alignment, in agreement, you're making them past versions of yourself feel safe, because you're doing certain things as an adult now in the present moment to make yourself feel safe. Doesn't it stand to reason that, okay, like if you can access yourself in the past versions, future versions of you can access you now, right? Like you don't just have to look and think backwards and obsessively, again, look and think backwards. Like you've done that inner work. It's time to look forward. And future versions of you right now are looking back at you, smiling, just kind of looking at you, realizing this only right now and being like, oh, they get it now. Now they get it. Like, and they don't have to worry so much about where they're going, if this job is going to manifest, if they're going to get that new car, if they're going to get that new apartment, if these things are going to work out, because they know that they're already there in some capacity. Which is why you have certain thoughts and visions and dreams in your mind that you just can't get rid of, because it's just, again, from a subconscious mind point of view, rather, it's just you in a future version already having that experience. And so you don't need to trip so hard. Like you don't need to be so uncertain all of the time about whether things are going to work out for you, because you've already got the information. It's there. It's in your mind for a reason. You've got this vision for a reason that won't leave you alone. And so you just have to kind of trust in that. If you can do it backwards, you can do it forwards. That's it. It doesn't even really need to be much like more complicated than that. And this is the thing I was realizing like over the last 2 weeks. I was like, fuck, it just clicked. It just clicked for me. It's mad. Bear with me a second. I am sometimes shocked at my own art, but I'm not, because I think I came here to do this as well. Exactly, like looking forward to the future, it just makes you look forward to it. You can like get excited about it. And that's what again, like feeling is the secret. Neville Goddard. You can go on YouTube and listen to that book for free. It's a very short book. It's only like an hour or something. But feeling excited for these future timelines that you can step into at will is what you're supposed to be feeling, because this is the era that you're in now. Like, you've done enough work, you've broken generational curses. It's time to be excited about where you're going, because you know that, again, just as you can work backwards with your subconscious mind, you can work forward. And so, yeah, be excited. Be excited about where you can go, because it's up to you now. Where do you want to go, though, is the question. Yeah. And this is the thing, like, what I really wanted to say was, earlier in this video, I was speaking about being in your comfort zone, how like being in your comfort zone, being in hermit mode, looking at yourself and like doing all this inner shadow work is also a comfort zone. But why don't we make our new comfort zone like forward, again, in newer timelines, but in timelines that, are for our highest good? Like, make our new comfort zone forward. Anytime you find yourself like tripping in the past, just remind yourself like, no, my new timeline is in the future. My new comfort zone is in the future. My new comfort zone is thriving, is winning, is serving, is stepping into my purpose. It's living it. It's happening now. That's where my comfort zone is, and that's where I'm going to focus my mind. And yeah, I'm going to push my mind in that direction. And it's crazy because, like, vision boards and like identity boards and things like this, all of these kinds of tools, I just started to realize were or are just kind of these like tools that humans have just been kind of using, especially over maybe the last 1,000 years, to remind ourselves that we have this power. Maybe I say 1,000 years, maybe just the last 100 years even. It's like we've been using these things just as a way to kind of slowly remind ourselves that we have that power, right? To be able to influence our futures, our realities. And it's like we've been slowly waking up to that fact. But the thing is, it's like there comes a point where we don't even need these tools, because we are the tool. The mind is all. The mind is the most powerful thing that God has gifted us with, the imagination, to see potential, to see imagination and realities that we can, call in, or at least align to, and then go into. And this is where I wanted to kind of bring in the idea of the Arrivals, the movie, the Alien movie. I don't know if any of you have seen it. If you haven't, go and watch this movie after I finish this video in about 5-10 minutes. It's a movie basically where these aliens come to planet Earth, and they are trying to communicate with humans, right? They're communicating with this linguistic doctor, or this linguist. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Linguist? This professor, Louise, and they are trying to communicate through this cyclical language that they spray, because basically these aliens are like squids. They look like squids. They call them heptapods in the movie. And these aliens basically have a holistic experience or perception of time. So they, again, like the subconscious mind, this is what I'm saying, like this movie is literally just showing us what we are evolving into. These aliens, they experience the past, the present, and the future of their own lives all at once. So they have access to all of the memories and the timelines in which they will experience or could experience, right? They're still in the present moment in these bodies, just like we are, but they have memories of potential futures, timelines that they could access. And so when they are teaching this professor, this doctor, this language, basically they've come to Earth to teach humans how to perceive time in this way. And as they teach this Professor Louise to read their language, to understand their language, she starts to unlock memories of her future self, right? And obviously it's a bit sad in the movie, like I won't ruin it if you haven't seen it, but she starts to remember things, and it just basically shows you like how, yeah, humans can unlock this perception of time within their minds. Because again, if one of the universal or hermetic principles, one of the hermetic principles or the chemetic principles that we've been knowing, that we've been saying for thousands of years, is that the mind is all. It's that, the mind is all, and that the mind can do anything, and it's all about perception. Perception and awareness can literally take you anywhere, can allow you to do things that you would thought were impossible. And so this movie kind of really it woke me up to that fact, whoa, maybe this is where we're evolving into, being able to expand our perception on an individual basis. Okay, cool. People around the world are going through these awakenings, as we call them right now. This is the age of awakening, the Aquarian age. But on a collective level, maybe this is what we're going into, an expanded perception or awareness of time. And that's why we talk about manifesting and timelines and all this stuff so much. We look at them as spiritual gifts, being able to manifest and call things into your reality, when really, again, it's literally just you pushing your subconscious mind or contacting future versions of yourself, along your timeline, and then calling those things in because you're choosing it. And that's literally all we're doing. It's not necessarily even, it is spiritual, but it's not magical. It's just an innate power, a gift that we've been able to do. We just forgot, or maybe we didn't. Maybe we haven't been there before. Maybe we're evolving into that. But this is where we're going towards, and this is why I said at the beginning of this video I'm going to get more expansive here, because we're kind of just ideating right now. But maybe, it's I think that's where we're going towards. That's literally what we're doing, and that's what this movie was showing us. And what happens when enough of us on this planet are living like that, are living like the doctor in the movie who starts remembering future timelines, and she still has the choice. She still can choose what timeline she steps into. Even though she has these memories, she doesn't have to go down certain routes. And it's the same with us. What happens when enough of us become awake or aware to that fact that it's just about perceiving or opening up our mind and experiencing time in this holistic way? Where do we go from there? Obviously, I don't have the answers to that. I am but a man. But, it's an interesting movie, and it makes you think. Definitely makes you think about even, just yourself having this power, this ability. And it's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting. I just want to kind of bring it back full circle, back to the idea of this starts with designing your identity, becoming comfortable with shifting and changing as a person, and shedding things that don't work for you, shedding places, shedding things, people that don't work for you, not clinging to things, and allowing yourself to grow so that you can step into any timeline. You have to be light to step into new timelines, which means you have to be willing to let go of things. And it's just that simple, fam. It's just that simple. But yeah, I think shit, I was literally with the fairies just then. I was literally on autopilot, just channeling then. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm gonna be designing my own identity board myself. Probably doing that tomorrow. I was supposed to do it 2 weeks ago, but then again, life took me on these adventures, which kind of made me realize everything I just even relayed to you. But yeah, it starts with that. It starts with the basics in it. It starts with the fundamentals. Design your identity board on a piece of paper. Just write, split it into four, and just write what the future version of you would say, think, do, and feel on a daily basis. And that is literally all you have to do. It's really not more complicated than that. You've been doing the inner work to look back. It's time to look forward and get excited. And that's really just what I wanted to say today. And I'm so happy I had my notes to help me get through the channeled message. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thanking you for listening to my yap session, because these are just yap sessions with my frequency family. And I do thoroughly enjoy these. I never get much painting done, but I do when I come off the cam. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to get back out into the world. I'm excited to experience laughter, to call in my people. I've been meeting so many of my frequency family, so many of you guys, so many of you lot. I've been having conversations with on Instagram and just DMs and stuff. Feel free to reach out. Like, it's always a pleasure to trade notes. And it's crazy just to see how much we mirror each other as well. That's what I'm saying. I don't even need to talk so much, fam. You lot just, I can just beam my thoughts to you. You lot just get it. You lot just get it. But yeah, that's me for today. I will see you soon. I'll see you next week. Gonna get back on track. I'll be here again on Friday. I know it's Saturday today, but I will be here on Friday and get back on track with this. And yeah, who knows what I'm gonna come and like channel and share next time. It's not even up to me, innit? I'm just the messenger, innit? Just like with the art. I'm just the messenger, fam. I am just the messenger. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. If you do catch this, if you caught this halfway through, go over on YouTube. I will upload the full thing because I've got 2 cameras right there. And drop me a like, subscribe, it really helps, comment. And yeah, I'll see you guys around.